our world is secretly strange. It is like watching a flowing river. Water is always rushing through the river, but the river doesn't really hold any water. When you become aware of this, you will naturally try to hold life still and pin it down. But how long can you really hold water for in your bare hands? The harder you clutch, the faster it seeps through your fingers. In one point of view, this is just frustrating. Everything flows away, everything changes. And there's even a kind of sadness in that, a kind of chronic nostalgia. On the other hand, if you really understand the nature of change, it becomes the opposite. As you become aware that you can only see black because you know white. You only know silence because you can hear sound. Sharp only exists in relation to dull. High and low go together. Beautiful and ugly complement each other. Two sides of the same coin. One cannot exist without the other. In the same exact way, change implies permanence. Do you see now that life only exists because it is always disappearing? What do you see? A bunch of people waiting for the bus, going about their normal lives. As simple as this question may seem, it is hard to put an answer to it with how little we actually see. This may seem like a group of people taking a walk, and you can choose to look at it this way, where everything is faint and out of focus. But in reality, we live in a world of untold stories. A different one unfolds with each glimpse you take. Stories of lives as vivid, as complex as your own. Take a look at the guy with the man bun. The hand on the face is known as a pacifier. This one says that he doesn't speak much and could be an introvert. The man bun says that he thinks differently, a person who tries to be rebellious and free-minded. The hand on the chest is another pacifier. The problem is that we spend our lives looking, but not really seeing. And there's always so much to see. Every little detail, every expression, every movement, every piece of clothing, jewelry, tattoo, hairstyle is there for a reason. To tell you something, you just have to see. Swinging walk demonstrate comfort with surroundings, social openness, and possibly impatience. The guarded walk, on the other hand, means busy-minded, non-social, deep thinker and creator. Formal shoes on casual clothes means that he is serious and practical. He's carrying 2 phones and they're not in his pockets. I'd say he holds a business management related roles. Swinging arms mean confidence and comfort around crowds. Her high-end bag is saying that she's fashion aware. I'd say she's a public speaker or a TV presenter. She's observant and appears to be vigilant. She's not a bodyguard, so I'd say she's a humanitarian activist. Notice the girl with the expressive look. The hair is telling me that she's gone through a recent transformation. Someone who started a new chapter in life. The t-shirt is saying that she's artistic, possibly a painter or a sketch artist. I also see an animal lover, an eccentric taste in music, and an occasional writer. Nonverbal communication is the means of transmitting information through platforms other than speech. These platforms include appearance, posture, facial expressions, gestures, eye gaze, and so on. It is often referred to as body language, but it's far more than just the body speaking. Up to 65% of the information exchanged in a face-to-face human conversation can be obtained non-verbally. Now, take a moment and roll your eyes up. I mean really, take the time and actually do that. Now, scratch your chin, and maybe even cross your arms. These are some of the things that we do all the time. Do you ever wonder why? They seem so automatic as they occur outside of our awareness, without thought, hence without our control. However, these nonverbal behaviors are not random. In fact, they can tell all about us. They can tell whether you're being comfortable or under stress, whether you're being deceptive or honest. They can even give clear insights about your intentions and desires. Because these behaviors are triggered by the limbic brain, which is a part of the brain that is responsible for our behavioral and emotional responses, especially when it comes to the behaviors we need for survival, such as the freeze, fight, or flight response. That includes regulating heart rate, breathing, body temperature, and orientation in space. And because this limbic brain of ours performs such a vital role, it always reacts to the world around us instantly, reflectively and involuntarily, without rational thinking. For that reason, our nonverbal behavior is our unfiltered and truly honest response to the information coming from the environment. Take a look. Can you tell how they feel about each other? Their intentions? How long have they known one another? Although you can't hear them talk, but their bodies are telling you all you need to know. When you cross your legs while standing, you become less vigilant from a safety point of view, because you are basically balanced on one foot. For this reason, your limbic brain only allows you to perform such stance when you feel confident and relaxed. The mirroring of their bodies is a tell about their personal relationship. It is as if their bodies are saying, "I am happy that you're here." The arms in the pockets and the laid-back posture follows the same concept of safety and comfort.
Every action we take is a form of self-expression. Every detail around us is there to tell a story in an unspoken language. It's all out there. You just have to look. To demonstrate this, we decided to engage in an experience with the customers of this cafe. Alongside each order, a question is served on a slip of paper, designed to trigger a reaction. We're looking for people that show unique responses. While talking to them, I will aim to interpret their non-verbal expressions, to uncover insights into their character and personal lives.
Hello,
Hello,
it's Omar.
Maisa?
Mesa, you know one of the things that we overlook every day is handshake. And the way we shake hands often tells a lot about who we are. Let me tell you what this handshake's telling me. Your fingers are holding with just enough force. No squeezing, no wrist tilt. You notice when sometimes people twist your wrist
Yeah.
trying to assert
Yeah.
some sort of dominance? You don't do
Right.
that. It's a very balanced handshake.
Okay.
You're a logical person, someone who observes and analyzes most of the time. You're self-aware,
Yeah.
and you often think a lot about how to make the right decision. When you shake someone's hand, your hand is shaped like a bow, almost leaving a gap between our palms. Do you feel it now?
Yeah.
And this gap usually signifies the desire for keeping boundaries, someone that enjoys their own personal space.
Right? Yeah, that's true.
This tells me that you are an easygoing person, easygoing and calm. You find it easy to relax with yourself or with others, because enjoying what we have now is what matters the most to you, right?
That's right.
Well, handshake is just a start. You know, it takes years for us to truly know someone. And when we do, there are some people that we wish we met earlier, and some others that we wish we never met.
Yes.
Like the people you're thinking about right now.
Yes. 100% yes. Yeah.
So don't you think it would be interesting to just look at someone and know everything about them from the minute you met them?
Yeah, instantly.
And this very thought haunted me for years and got me thinking, isn't everything that we do in our lives is a form of self-expression? Every little detail in us is there to tell a story. You just have to observe.
Right. Yeah. I totally agree with you.
I can also see that you're a logical person, someone who chooses their brain over their heart and always thinks twice. You're a fast-paced worker. You like to do things quickly because slow things kind of exhaust you. You are easily liked by people and often form strong bonds with people very quickly.
That's right. 100%.
This tells me that you are naturally more tolerant of people. And thus, you're the person that is not easily angered or upset. You are comfortable under stressful situations, although you snap at people sometimes.
That's right, yeah.
I also see a very charismatic person. You're a talker, very friendly, also very patient. You almost never get angry.
Yeah.
Someone who's impatient, but it's only because you value time so much.
I'm so impatient.
And because you're sharp on time, you're someone that plays to win. You like to be at the top of your game.
Of course.
You're a very confident person, and you know you're confident. You have a firm posture, but you're also very relaxed. You know how to deal with people, how to take risks and big decisions.
Yes.
I also see that you're very relaxed and calm. However, this relaxed nature of yours often gets you to be more present, but less aware of the passage of time.
which means you are a last-minute person. Someone who would pile things up and get motivated by close deadlines. But that's also you socially, I guess. You're the sort of person that bottles things up until you can't, then you, boom, you burst.
That's right.
I'm guessing you also have a short attention span, someone who would get bored easily and so loses interest. And this is why sometimes you don't finish what you have started.
Yep.
Everything we do tells more about us than we think they do. Yeah, I see a manager's personality. You're someone who's good with dealing with people. You know how to lead the team, super extrovert, but your quality time is mostly spent alone.
I do enjoy being in contact with people and communicating, but sometimes it just drains me.
So this tells me that you're an independent person?
I became that person, yes.
And that's why you mostly enjoy working alone, as opposed to work with a group that might not understand your vision and might slow you down. I see a person who's independent, just like I told you, but who also appreciates the people who were in the past. Because you acknowledge that these people who were in your past made you who you are today. Because if not for the hardships that you went through, you wouldn't have been the person you are today. Although these people could not give you the best memories, but I feel like you've been thinking about the past lately. Because you are a hard worker, but you often worry about not working hard enough.
That's true. Yeah.
A perfect Friday afternoon for you would be watching your favorite TV show with your coffee mug and maybe even reading your favorite book.
True.
I also see a person who enjoys being in a state of flow. Does that make sense? You like to flow. You like to fly.
Yep. That's right. 100%. Don't you see my ring? Yep. I really want to fly. This is my dream.
This is very interesting. Did someone just pop up in your head? Have you been thinking about someone today?
Yes.
This person is very important to you. Someone who's very close. I'd definitely say it's a family member, not a friend, someone you haven't spoken to in quite some time. That is a person that you inspire emotions and love from.
Yes.
You must be thinking about your mom, right?
Yes. True.
Could you imagine that person sitting right here? I mean, really, try to feel their presence. I see a little change in your posture. You are suddenly more tense, and that means it's a person that you would not feel comfortable being around, although this person was close to you.
Yeah.
Can you maybe think of their name? I feel like their name is at the back of your head, this very minute. And if you can you count the number of letters in your head? That was fairly quick, so I would say 4 to 5 letters. Right?
Yep.
And I'm guessing it has an A or an E sound somewhere in there.
Yeah.
It took you a while to confirm because you checked for both. I think it must have both A and E sounds.
Yep. Yes.
What I want you to do right now is to open your mouth just a bit and say whatever you want to say to that person. Talk to them in your head. But then finally, say their name. And again, say nothing out loud and don't move your lips. Right now, look at them and do what I just told you to do. keep saying their name over and over in your head. Nidal, Nidal, Nidal.
Wow.
The search for meaning is a search for a lost treasure. You've never actually seen it, but you know it is somewhere. Or at least you hope it is. And so you begin looking for a path, trying to understand the world and your purpose in it. We don't stop searching as we grow up. We only lose faith of our own path, or of the fact that there is any path in the first place. And so we stop wondering. Many people make a mess of their own treasure maps. We sketch imaginary monsters on the map because we find their presence eerily comforting. They guard the edges of what we know and trap us inside, so we can live comfortably in a version of the world that we created. You can choose to do that, or you can dare to look far beyond your monsters. Come with me on a journey to a world you never thought existed. My name is Omar Ali. Welcome to Untold. What is this? A mess of dots, rather meaninglessly scattered, insignificant even. No matter how hard you try to look, that is the only view you will be able to see. But as you stand away from this cluster of dots, which all seem to be separate and apart from each other, they suddenly arrange themselves into a pattern. Take a few more steps to the back, and you will find that these patterns are also in fact interconnected, with the highest degrees of complexity. They always have been, you just were not aware, because you were looking too close. However, this must be the end line, because nothing beyond this point makes any sense. But only when you step further away from what seemed to be a series of randomly made-up connections, surprise, everything comes together to form a grand view. Only then will the truth reveal itself to you. None of these dots are randomly scattered after all. Every seemingly insignificant dot now appears to be in the perfect position to play a vital role. From this perspective, you will no longer just see the things happening near you. You will see all things clearly, and you will see all the forces that shape and influence stories.
These are 4 cups. Pick one. Whichever one you picked, it was your decision and yours only. That is the concept of free will. Are the sole author of your choices. But who are you? Are you your thoughts? Or your memories? Or perhaps your free will? We don't have an answer. But what we know is, all these combined are known as the conscious mind, through which we experience conscious attention, our sense of self, our ego. However, you see, this conscious mind of ours, with all of its magnificent abilities, makes up less than 10% of our total brain function. So who are you now? Are you that 10%? What about that 90%? Known as the subconscious, it is a part of our mind that we don't have control over. That 90% has been the true author of your destiny for as long as you can remember. Every decision you ever made in your life originated from there. And even if you feel in control when making decisions, the reality is you do not know where your decisions come from. It is beyond thought.
Do you believe that we have free will? That we choose all of our choices?
Yes and no. I think some choices are ours, but not all choices.
I don't really believe so.
Well, let's try something.
Okay.
I will hide the spawn in one of my hands.
Okay.
All we have to do is try and guess where it is.
Oh.
Make sense?
Yeah, makes sense.
Now, tell me, which hand? Do you see how hard there is to get it by just guessing? But let me try. But listen, this is very important. On the surface, this will feel like a normal game of which hand. But I will not be trying to guess or read you to get it right. Here's what I'm gonna do instead. I will try to make you go for the hand that I want. And that's how I'll get it right. So I'll basically be trying different ways to influence your choices before you even make them. And this is not about finding the pawn, although we will, but this is more about understanding how we think and what affects that. Does that make sense?
Sure.
Let's begin.
Should I just hide it?
Yep. Great.
Choose.
Yeah. So this is a very simple game. We all played this game before. All we have to do is make the right decision. But how do we make decisions? At the start, when I was explaining the game, I touched your right hand. Did you feel it?
Not really.
Exactly. And because you didn't feel it, it certainly did affect your decision. You would naturally try to hide away from that feeling of touch, so the pawn is in your left hand.
It is in my left hand.
Do you want to try again?
Okay, let's try.
But before you make any decision, let's make a bet. $100. I miss, you keep the money.
Yeah.
No cash, genuine.
Okay.
You can make your choice now. You see, the logic behind this is very simple.
Okay.
There is now an incentive, a reason for you doing it. I
Yes.
mean, there is money on the table, literally. So you would naturally want to get this right and grab the money.
Yeah.
With that in mind, you have established a mental connection, and it goes like this. The money goes left, you go left. The money goes right, you go right. Since the money here, the pawn should be here.
All right. That was a good one.
Now you know how the money thing works. It will not affect you because you will know what to look out for. So let's try this again. Only this time, the money will not have any effect, and I won't have any effect on your decision.
Okay.
You will be completely free. So go ahead and hide the pawn. Just bring your hands out when you're ready. You see, even in scenarios where it seems that we are completely free, there are always factors that affect our decisions and choices. In this case, I relied on your past experience. Let me explain. In the first round, I made you go for this hand. And the second, I made you stick to it and kept it in the same hand. And in this round, you have established this pattern and you realize that this hand is not doing you any favors. So the least obvious decision would be to switch hands. And that's how I relied on your past experience and did nothing. The pawn is in this hand. You switched. You see how we underestimate how everything around us influences what we do. And naturally, the harder we try to avoid and anticipate influence, the more likely we'll end up falling for it. Although this is a game of which hand, but it's a perfect demonstration of how decision-making works. We determine our life's biggest decisions by weighing the given options, like good or bad, pros and cons. Very similar to right or left. To influence a decision, all you have to do is make one side of the scale just a bit heavier. That's the secret. Or that's what I was told anyways. You know, these $100 bills come from this 10 grand stack. And this time, I will not explain anything. I will say it up ahead. The pawn will be on the right. Please open your right hand and reveal the pawn.
Oh, man.
A research was conducted in which participants were presented with two buttons. They were asked to make a decision by pressing one of the buttons. Using fMRI to monitor their brain activity, researchers were able to predict which button participants would choose up to 11 seconds before they consciously made that choice. This research suggests many things. One of them is that all of the hundreds of choices and actions that we make every day are determined long before we consciously think of them, and that our train of thoughts is merely us browsing through our subconscious mind's history. Hearing this might upset you, as you feel like you're living a predetermined life where you have no control, since all of your choices are being chosen on your behalf. You're sitting in the passenger seat the whole journey. But you see, this all depends on a false notion of what is oneself. We identify ourselves with that 10% of the mind only. I am my conscious attention. This is my ego. This is me. And so we ignore and become unaware of our true self. Now you might ask, how do I put this subconscious under control? The answer is you don't need to. Trying to take control is like trying to tame the ocean before sailing. Sailors don't do that. They just trust the ocean and flow with its currents. You must begin to consciously trust it. The same way that you trust it to beat your heart. Your heart doesn't function on its own, and so does the rest of your sophisticated body. The same trust that you have when you go to sleep, knowing that your lungs will continue breathing on their own until you wake up again. Only they don't. They and the rest of your sophisticated body are being orchestrated harmoniously. Only then do you realize that your subconscious is infinitely vast, and it has been always working for you, and that you are it. The world has many stories. Some are happy, some are tragic, some are heroic, some make an impact, and some are mediocre. However, the only true story, and the most important of them all, is the story that you tell yourself. We tell ourselves stories all the time. These stories make us who we are. We are here because of a memory of sorts. When I was 10 years old, my mom would tell me stories about this brave soldier. He fought for his country, and he was like a hero to people. He fulfilled his dream of becoming a royal guard to the king after the war has ended. Life was good. He got married, got himself some kids. To many, he was a role model, including his son, who wanted to be just like him. He enjoyed traveling the world, and he often went on these long expeditions when he was off duty. To explore the world, of course. The years went by and he traveled a lot. And one day, on one of his expeditions, he met a man who told him something. Although he didn't make much sense of it at the time, but it would later shape his whole life. As he returned home from that journey, life as he knew was no longer the same. He was shocked to find that his king was killed and the monarchy has fallen. The country was in a political mess. Money was not easy, and he had a family to feed. Even his son had to join the army. He tried to make ends meet the honest way, all while thinking about what that man had told him. What is to give light must endure burning. Things weren't getting any better and didn't seem to end anytime soon. Using the conflict to his advantage, he started dealing guns and arms. In the beginning, only to feed his family. But as conflict only persisted, he made more and more money with the years. As a result, he became very wealthy, and he had so much power and influence. One day, after he closed the deal, as usual, he went back home. He came home to receive tragic news. The news of his soldier son dying in the war. He was devastated and couldn't help but think it was those same guns he once dealt that caused this. He ended the gun business on the spot, and he hit rock bottom. His family tried to help him get back on his feet and move on, but to no avail. Eventually, he went back to do what he loves most, traveling. And that's where most of the stories come from, right? Every night, my mom would tell me a different country he visited and a different adventure that he had. I looked forward to these every night and would sometimes even make up my own. So I thought tonight, we make one of our own. They say we lose our imagination when we grow up. So tonight we're all 10 years old with our imagination as vivid as can be. So the story starts and you're at the airport with that man. They didn't have screens back then, so flight information used to be displayed on these analog flip screens. And you see all different kinds of destinations. Some far, some close, some cold, and some hot. And although you're standing still, but you feel like you can see the whole world.
So this man smiles and hands you your ticket. As soon as you grab your ticket, you glance at the destination. What do you see? Name a country.
Oh, Italy.
You want to go to Italy. Okay. So you hop on the plane and you arrive to Italy. You had quite the flight. And as soon as you arrive, he wants to take you to do something for fun. So he suggests few options. There is the theme park, maybe a nearby circus, and even the countryside. So where would you go, Hovin?
The countryside.
The countryside. So you hop in the car and he takes you to the countryside. You see, the sky is clear. It's sunny, but it's beautiful. The air is so clear, it's so fresh. It makes you feel so comfortable. So you roll down the window and you glance outside. Yeah, you stick your head outside. And you ask him to stop the car. So he stops the car because you see an animal at a distance near some shack. So name an animal. What animal are you seeing?
Pack of squirrels.
Pack of squirrels.
Pack of squirrels.
So you try to catch them, but they run away.
Yeah.
But only one squirrel remains. And the man pulls out an old camera and he gives it to you. So you grab the camera and snap a picture. And for some reason that squirrel did not run away. And this is amazing. We have now just lived an experience with that man. Although it is in our heads only, a fragment of our imagination, but who knows? Maybe this man did go on this journey to Italy? He maybe did go to the countryside and did see a squirrel, and maybe even took a picture with it. As simple as this story is, maybe it all means something. Or that's what I kept telling myself anyway. I lived my life thinking that these were fairy tales. Only to realize that these were the stories of my grandfather. The stories that were never told. And although me and him never actually met, if he'd done anything different, I wouldn't be here now. We're here because of memory. The memory of my grandfather.
Wow. Wow.
What is this? What is this?
What? What is this?
Can you clearly read the back of the photo with a clear, loud voice?
Oh my.
We are all connected. 1981, Italy. Wow, I mean, I'm trying to wrap my head around it, but like...
what we thought about right now would create something in the past.
We all can find a way to have some sort of connection.
I'm very intrigued about how the human brain and all of our individual experiences combine.
Like, from now on, I'm just currently thinking about my life decisions.
I am speechless.
Feeling of connection, I guess?
I think it really got me to think about how we're all really connected on a subconscious level, including in ways that we can never even understand.
I weirdly feel like I've had a connection to this man who I never met and would never meet.
We are all connected. The decisions I make will somehow find their way into your life and affect you, in some way at least. Your decisions have a ripple effect. Something as simple as the flutter of a butterfly's wing can create a storm on the other side of the world. People call it the butterfly effect, but there is so much more to it. Every time you say a word, give an advice, take a walk, smile, or maybe even do nothing at all, you are shaping the world around you. On the other hand, that world is constantly influencing you, all the time, in ways you can't fathom. You probably don't even realize it, but you exist here and now as a result of a complex chain of decisions and actions that took place over hundreds of years by your great-great-grandparents. If one decision had gone any different, you and I wouldn't be here now. This isn't meant to make you feel upset, but perhaps to consider this. It is often said that the reason behind all human unhappiness lies in the sense that one's life could have no meaning, and so we are always in search of meaning. Thinking that the world has some set-in-stone purpose, and we must find it, so that it gives value to our lives. We have this obscure sense that the significance of life ought to be a symbol that is beyond our lives. Therefore we, since childhood, look for something to live for, to fight for, something to die for, to feel this sense of accomplishment and significance. But many of the things that we want badly are things that we only half glimpsed. Our ideals are very often suggestions. When we are born, we inherit a world of beliefs and rules, without thought or choice. Some spend their lives patching meaning for things they were taught. Others try to break free and overcompensate. Either way, it's our world's doing, a response we didn't choose. Do you see now? You and the world are not separate. You never have been and never will be. You are intertwined. two sides of the same coin. That is the marvelous beauty of life. When you become aware of this, you will realize that it is you who gives life to the universe. You give the sun its light, and you give thunder its sound. Because without your eyes, the sun wouldn't be light. Without your ears, sound is just vibrations. And so without your senses, the universe is merely quantum, crashing into each other endlessly. In the same way, it is you who gives life its meaning. You are something that the whole universe is doing, at a place you call here and now.
Now I'm rethinking every decision in my life that I have made, and I'm thinking like, oh man, what did I do in my life?
There is free will, but things do affect your decisions.
We're social creatures, right? And so much of communication is nonverbal.
No matter what decision I have made in my life, it feels like it wasn't my choice.
You were touching one hand, and then it was in the other. Wait, I'm confused.
Yeah, I think we're affected by things around us without realizing it.
So I figured like maybe you're thinking like this, so I'm trying to mind trick you into mind tricking me, into mind tricking you into mind... Yeah, it didn't work. I tried those.
I tried to do basically the opposite of what I thought that would be the rational thing to do. And I think by doing that, it was easy for you to start predicting what I decided. I think I applied the same rule throughout.
Why did you go right, although I told you it was going to be on the right? Why did you have to choose right?
I didn't choose. It was in my right hand. I was like, oh shit, now it's on my right hand, just like he said. And like, I was like, you know what, I'm going with it, and then...
If I asked you to think of a number less than 10,
Okay.
most people would think of 7, right? The reason why you do this is because we are hardwired to associate number 7 with good luck. You know, like the slot 777 means swing, right? Money. This was absolutely amazing.
Thank you.
I think I got this myself. Yeah, I'm sorry. We'll play again some other time, maybe.